Hello my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you've got a bit lost. Welcome everyone, I am Chatty, welcome to my channel Chatty the Mad Chatter. Today I'm chatting away madly about the rest of the books that I read in May, so that's weeks 3 and 4. I've got 4 books to chat to you about, so we're going to get on with that. So cheers everyone, I have a big mug of tea, which is a very nice temperature, so hopefully I will drink it hot in between chattering. If you are new to the channel, I do not edit my videos because my laptop might explode, so it's just one long continuous shot that I then upload. So it could be chaotic, you never know, we're just going to go with it and see what happens. So one shot, no editing, clink, clink, clink. So in the first couple of weeks of May, I read The School for Good Mothers by Jasmine Chan. I read Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. So this, I got it from the library and it's gone back, so this is like a placeholder. I read Asher and the Spirit Bird by Jasmine Balan, and I read Welcome to St. Helens, My Trans Teen Misadventure by Lewis Hancock. So I have 4 books to talk to you about today. The first one is a YA fantasy called A Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. This is the 3rd book in the Ember in the Ashes quartet. So I've only got one left to read now. So I'm going to do non-spoiler as much as possible. So it is a desert fantasy. It's a very harsh world. We have 3 protagonists from Torch Against the Night, which is the 2nd book, and then into this one. And I think this is the first time that their stories have felt so separated from each other. So it does give the book a kind of a different feel to it, because we have got 3 parallel stories happening. In terms of what it's going through for the plot and the character development, it's very necessary for them, and I think it's interesting to kind of see where they're going. But I think it also made me enjoy it less, because I enjoyed it more when you've kind of got that mix of them together. So bit of a mixture with this one. So we are following our 3 protagonists, Leah, Elias and Helene, and they have all got a load on their plates to deal with, new kind of adventures for them. All of it expands the world more and is moving us forward in terms of like the end goal. I think it's progressed quite a lot from where we were in Ember in the Ashes and expanded beyond that, but there's still like plot threads that are needing to be dealt with from that initial book. And it's a lot less fun, I feel, in this one. I mean, not that it was completely fun in the other 2, but like this one definitely feels much darker. So I think that definitely kind of added to sort of like my I didn't enjoy this. This is probably my least favourite book so far that I've read, but I think it's just because it didn't feel as fun. And there were moments when I was unsure about some of the decisions of the characters and whether or not they were making the right decisions, and it just felt slightly frustrating, and I just felt frustrated on their behalf. I'm rooting for all 3 of the characters, but I just feel very frustrated on their behalf. There's lots of kind of different factors going on, different kind of dangers from all sides. There's political elements going on, there's spiritual elements and like supernatural, like evil things going on that they're all dealing with. And there is a big kind of, in terms of characters, there's a reveal that took me completely by surprise, but all of the clues were there leading up to it. So I really appreciated that, and that was very, very interesting. And I am very excited to see how it's all going to go and how it's all tying together. I do feel that this has all been plotted out very clearly. by Sabata here, I feel very much that she's very in control of the story and knows where she wants people to be ending, and she knows like the story she's wanting to tell. So I really appreciate that. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna no idea what's gonna happen in the final book. I feel it could go any which way. I'm very intrigued to be getting to that one. I'm really looking forward to kind of like reading that, finishing off the story, and kind of seeing how it all kind of goes together as a quartet. Have been enjoying them so far, so I really hope Sky Beyond the Storm delivers. I think I am going to enjoy it, because from what I've heard, I think people who didn't enjoy it was because it's kind of moved away from where it started in Ember and the Ashes, and it's a different type of story now. To me, that has it's felt like a very natural progression. It's kind of like you start off in this one place, and then the world expands, and then it expands some more in this. And then I feel it's going to be within that expansion, but kind of pulling everything together in the final one. So I have enjoyed it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say without giving any spoilers. So if you enjoy, I think I said it previously that this I think this series is a good book where if you're someone that reads YA and you think you want to try adult, I think this is a good one to kind of go in. Or if you're someone that wants to try fantasy and you're not too sure how you're going to feel about it, I think this is a good one to go in with, because it gives you a range of different things that are in fantasy stories, but it has a much more kind of faster plot pace than because it's YA than you would get in an adult fantasy. So I think it is a good starting point in that respect, especially if you're someone who comes from more of a romance reading, or if you enjoy like a romance side plot. If you're someone that doesn't enjoy that, then that's probably an aspect of YA that you're not going to enjoy with this series. It becomes less so as the series progresses. It's definitely a side plot rather than a full-on one. I think Ember and the Ashes had a lot more teenage angst than these books do. So there we go. If any of that sounds like you, give the series a whirl. If not, don't. So I've got two books that I'm going to talk about now that I spoke in great detail about in my Anyone's for Seconds video. So I'm just going to talk about them briefly. So the first is Zen Cho's The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water. This is a novella which involves a bandit and a nun, and has wonderful banter, a very clear world, fantastic characters, and is just an absolutely delightful story from start to finish. I love this one so much. It has truly cemented Zen Cho as an author by author, and I really would love to hear that she's got more work coming out, because it's been a while since Black Water Sister and I haven't heard that she's got anything else in the pipeline. So I really hope she has. Fingers crossed. I then have A House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, which is the first book in the Crescent City series, which is an adult fantasy. This book I also read as part of the Anyone for Seconds challenge, which I will link here, should you want more thoughts on these, because I go in quite fully in those. So I did listen to the audiobook. I mainly read via the audiobook because it's very heavy. I think that definitely helped with me managing to get through that this month. And I kind of went in not expecting a huge amount, because I haven't enjoyed some of her other books, but I wanted to try a different series from her. And initially when I was reading the book, all of the problems that I had previously, I continued to have, despite the different kind of world and location. But I got to about chapter 17, which is over a fifth of the way through the book. And then I started to enjoy the plot, and I felt her writing style calm down. I enjoyed the characters. There were still a few things that annoyed me, but generally I had a really fun time with this book, which I found very surprising. So I did actually really enjoy reading this. It was a really fun time, with some political bits and pieces, murder mystery, and I just enjoyed that bit that the plot kind of pulled together well. There were bits that were alluded to. There was too much kind of reminding us about things, like just in case we missed it. Just really make sure you know this fact. But genuinely, in terms of the plot of the story, it did really well to kind of like go have the little setups, and then we got the payoff as the book went on. So that was really good. And the final book that I'm going to be talking about is Robin Hobb, Blood of Dragons. This is the 4th book in the Rainwild Chronicles, so it's the last book in that series, and the Rainwild Chronicles are the 4th series in the realm of the Elderlings, of which there are 5 series overall. So, Blood of Dragons. Well, it's Hobb, so I loved it. Her world building, her characters, fabulous. The way she managed the plot in this, everything was kind of tied up enough. There are loose ends, but I kind of enjoyed that about Hobb. But generally, everything was kind of like dealt with. I do feel... so there was a really good amount in here with like the dragons and the keepers and some of the lore around that, and the general kind of magic lore and magical side of things. We get kind of more links and more answers that have cropped up in previous books throughout the whole of the Realm of the Elderlings series. So that was really exciting to be hearing about those. And there was a story, so certain storylines with like the Dragons and Keepers characters of the original Rainwild Chronicles, or of previously characters that have got a connection with dragons. I felt all of that was done like a really good pace, explored really well, and I really enjoyed it. But I did find myself wanting more. So I don't know if this came from like Hobb's publishers that were like, well, at the moment, the popular fantasy books are more YA ones where there's more of a plot, and there's it's faster paced, and you can't have it over 500 pages. So I don't know if Hobb like had to like slim it down to fit publishing demands, or if Hobb just was really excited to write the Fitz and the Fool trilogy and just kind of like needed to finish this one so stuff in there made sense. I don't know, but I felt like I didn't quite have the full Hobb experience in this one. I really wanted more like from the ending. So there's kind of the climactic moment of the book happens quite quickly and is kind of more spoken about in hindsight rather than presently being there. And I wanted more of us being there. I wanted us to see the fallout from both sides of the kerfuffle. I wanted there to be a clash of ideas. I wanted people to pay for crimes. I wanted shock and surprise. I wanted more kind of exploration with the general public of that particular place and how they feel. Because in the Rainwild Chronicles we do get to explore a new place that we've heard of but it hasn't fully been explored before. And we have seen glimpses. We've seen like the palace and like rulers in that place, but we haven't seen like what it's like for regular people of that land. And I would have liked to have seen more of that. I would have liked to have had more chapters in that place, more kind of day-to-day living of that. And like I wanted more like from the ending and the kind of the climactic period there. But I did feel that Hobb's kind of focus was more on, because it is the Rainwild Chronicles, was more on the home of the dragons and where they ended up and their kind of journey in that respect, rather than the kind of politics with humans going on kind of around the Rainwilds. So that was the focus of her story, and in terms of that, she did explore everything. As a character, things happen to characters. Sometimes you're happy about them, sometimes you're not happy about them. And it feels very kind of satisfactory in how things go to a certain extent, but there's still bits I just kind of wanted more. I wanted more time with those. I wanted more time with the politics. I really like the politics. I wanted more time with that. I wanted more characters representing those different factions so we could see more of it and kind of just exist in that and just get all the nitty-gritty details that we get in the rest of her works. I just felt this one was a little bit on the rushed side because we didn't get to spend as much time amongst the pages as we usually do. But I really enjoyed, so I call them the pigeon people. I don't know if they're called like the bird tamers or the bird keepers. They're called the bird keepers. But the pigeon people, we have at the beginning of chapters, you get notes and letters from these people who are looking after the birds and sending them across to other places throughout sort of like Bingtown and the Rainwilds, so Treehawk and Kassarik. So you get to see all these letters that are going around. So you get different bits from different bits and people, which was really fun. I just really enjoyed the way that all kind of came together. But there is also kind of like an ongoing kind of like political kind of a scandal amongst the morality and professionalism of the bird keepers. So it was very exciting to watch and hear how all of that played out, and very well done because it is just in epistolary form of letter writing. So all in all, I really did enjoy the Rainwild Chronicles. I had a great time. I think it's a really important series for the realm of the Elderlings, and I had some wonderful character arcs and things that I really enjoyed about it, plus dragons. This is like proper full-on lots of dragons. But I want more because I'm greedy for Hob. And I felt this wasn't full-on Hob. I felt we could have had it more Hobbish with more immersion and more detail and more living and breathing certain moments. But great. Finished the Rainwild Chronicles and I am so excited and terrified of starting Fits in the Fall. But it's going to be awesome. Okay, so just going to kind of wrap up a couple of readathons. So the one I was mainly focused on in May was the Asian readathon, which is done by Cindy from Read with Cindy, encouraging people to give Asian authors a try things out of your kind of normal comfort zone, your normal like life experience. So I always find that lots of fun, and I have read here we go. I have read 5. So we have The Order of the Pure Moon reflected in Water by Zen Cho, who is of Malaysian heritage. Reaper at the Gates by Sabah Tahir, who is of Pakistani heritage. Asha and the Spirit Bird by Jasmine Dabalan, who is of Indian heritage. Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsuchimura, who is of Japanese heritage. Who is Japanese. And The School for Good Mothers by Jasmine Chan, who is of Chinese heritage. I am also currently working on We Are Displaced by Malia Yousseffer. I did not finish this in May, but I did read it all in June. So I have not finished this one, but I'm going to be talking about it in my June wrap up. And Malala Yousafzai is also from Pakistan. I did not realise that. I thought she was from Afghanistan, which was my mistake. So I still read the 5 from 5 different places. But Reaper at the Gates doesn't count because I've already got Malala Yousafzai for that particular prompt. But anyway, it's all good. Other book that I was reading this month was The Night Circus, which was a buddy read from Nicole from Dusty Booksniffers channel. It was the Spin the Wheel, and this was the fantasy suggestion. Didn't finish this one in May either, so that rolled into June, and I have read it in June, so you will hear about that one in my June wrap up. Let's put these books back. And I was hoping to take part in Middlegrade May-hem, which is a readathon by Beth, Storm, Elizabeth and Lee. All of their channels will be linked in the description box, as will the announcement videos should you want more information on it. It has finished, but you might want to look back on it for fun. So the Mayhem is you have to go and watch each of their announcement videos to get all of the full prompts. So I only managed to read one middle grade book, which is Asha and the Spirit Bird, but this covers the prompts. Beth from Soul Stained Ink had the theme of Diaspora, which is the dispersion of people their culture and their stories. And the first prompt was to read a book from another country or culture. So this has very much got Indian culture in it, and the author is of Indian heritage. So that counts for that one. And also Lee from Dark Creations has the prompt of teams. Sorry, the theme of teams, and this workbook is about teaming up with your friends. This fitted prompt number 2. And only from writing this list have I realised this actually fits a third prompt as well. I didn't think it did, but it does. So Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books, her theme was fun, and it was a fun book with a number or a name in the title. And this is Asher and the Spirit Bird, and I found it really fun. Emotional and adventurous and like so scary at times, but it was fun. I had fun. So Asher and the Spirit Bird fits all. The only theme it doesn't fit is mysterious. It could fit mysterious, but it doesn't fit any of the prompts. So this was from Storm by Stormi Reads, and that was 1 book with a house on the cover, 2 a book with a spooky looking cover, and 3 a book with a glowing light. And it doesn't really have any of those on there. That's not a sun, it's a flower. Otherwise that could have worked. I was hoping to read these 4. So any one of these 4, I was hoping to read another book. So I had The Crackle-Dawn Dragon by Abby Elphinston. This fits Glowing Light for the mystery prompt. And also Teaming Up with Strangers as well for the teams prompt. Sprinkle of Sourcery by Michelle Harrison. This would fit the team's prompt for teaming up with your family. Percy Jackson and the Battle for the Labyrinth fits the Diaspora book that features mythology, fun name in the title, and book with a spooky looking cover, because I think this is quite terrifying, seeing this like Greek armoured fire breathing warrior coming down on the labyrinth. And also this is one I really wanted to read, especially with Stormi in mind, because it's a mystery, and mystery is her vibe, her thing, her passion. So this is called The Garden of Lost Secrets by A.M. Howell, and I really wanted to read it, but I didn't. But it is a book with a house on the cover. We can see a house in the background, so that would have fit the mystery prompt there. But never mind, you can't do everything, so well done for me not trying to do everything, and I really hope I will get on with some of those later on in the year. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know any of your thoughts on any of these books and what you have been reading recently. You know I love a chat. Happy reading, everyone.